You can always count on it being an interesting day in Oilers land when obviously a player from yesteryear comes into the headlines taken task with somebody or something to do with the organization over the course of the years. That is, of course, point in case today, Rob Schremp versus Oilers media. Friends, we'll talk about that in a matter of moments. We'll get to that aforementioned by Patrick New Jersey Devils trade target that you've been waiting to hear from me about. And friends, before that all, we'll get to the housekeeping notes. First of all, this is Dolynny TV. Happy Friday evening to you, friends, as we get set to recap the day that was in Edmonton Oilers land. Of course, that said, everybody's not tuning in Friday evening. You might be tuning in Saturday morning. Heck, you might be tuning in Saturday afternoon, half a world away, somewhere like Australia, New Zealand, and all those great places. I know we have friends that tune in from Thailand, and I'm trying to appeal to the more global audience as well. I think we might have gained some folks from Finland here as well who would be approaching tomorrow if you're tuning in late tonight. So great to have everybody aboard, and I'm hoping to get back to live streaming soon. That won't be the case tomorrow, though, as I have to head to Drumheller for some hockey, playoff hockey tomorrow. We'll get that all sorted out, and then we'll get back to regularly scheduled programming coming soon here. But that said, friends, the Oilers have had a day, and I'd like to have you enjoy those days with me if you'd be so kind to consider hitting that subscribe button if you're new at any point in time, or if you just signed up for a YouTube account. I'd love to have you add up to these 10,826 crazy Oilers fans we got here doing this Dolynny TV thing. Okay, what do we actually have to get to first? Rob Schremp versus the media, or should we get to one Mr. Ryan Graves? Now, obviously, I think I haven't had a chance yet to check out Patrick's video, if I'm being all too honest. We've just messaged back and forth about things a little bit here over our couple of text threads, and basically he had went out there and mentioned Michael McLeod of the New Jersey Devils. Why? Well, because the Oilers have been caught scouting San Jose and New Jersey quite heavily over the past week. I think San Jose were pretty concrete that it's Erik Karlsson. If not, it's probably Timo Meier. So XYZ, we don't have anything to really talk about there. But the New Jersey Devils getting scouted heavily is kind of actually weird if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan, because you're thinking, man, the Devils, aren't they that team that absolutely whooped our butt when they were on that big long win streak? Are they still on that big long win streak? Did they ever come back to earth after absolutely whooping butt there earlier on in the season? Like when we were struggling, and they won against us. Did we do what happened to them? Well, they are second place, my friends, in the Metropolitan Division. They have 81 points on the year in 58 games. So no, the answer is no. They did not come back to earth. They are still whooping butt in the Eastern Conference. And with that, well, okay, why? What's going on here? Like, so, pardon me. What, like, even I'm quite honestly, I'm trying to play confused. I'm a confused man, but I play one on TV too. No, I'm very confused at why the Oilers could potentially be scouting anything when it is related to the New Jersey Devils. But you look at it, right, is obviously Michael McLeod, the McLeod connection, the brothers make absolute sense. I 100% agree, and that's actually, Patrick must have came up with that one earlier today. That was never on the board, but he said, I'm pretty sure you're pretty concrete in wanting Ryan Graves, and I'll explain why in a matter of moments. But you look up and down this roster, obviously the goaltending I doubt we're scouting. I doubt anyone of consequence is coming from the New Jersey Devils. But what kind of made me interested, Ryan Graves, old running mate of Mr. Cale Makar, and oh, by the way, he's 6'5", 230 pounds. Suddenly, yeah, okay, all right. I think you're talking my language, right? I think you're talking my language to some extent. And Ryan Graves, too. You kind of look at the roster for the New Jersey Devils. He's at a 19 points on the year, six goals, 13 assists. This is, I'm going to preface this before I get too far. This is dreaming on my end. This is not, oh, hey, this is who we're trading for. It's just nobody from New Jersey has been mentioned in trade rumors by any Oilers insider. So hey, if I have free choice of anyone on New Jersey's roster, I am taking Ryan Graves. This man is an absolute beauty. He is a plus minus beast for those who care about it on a team that is 81 points in the standings and has had some pretty fantastic games so far this year. Well, guess what? He is a plus 31 on the back end and playing 19 and a half minutes per game. Another one that was mentioned by Patrick and I in our chats the past 24 hours is Thomas Tatar. Again, I don't know why the New Jersey Devils would give away a 30-point guy that plays 15 minutes a night. But again, this all goes back to that. You're just kind of dreaming out there scenarios with the New Jersey Devils because end of the day, they've got a very deep roster that's doing some very concrete things for them. And you obviously don't want to see them kind of blow it up going into the playoffs. Obviously, that's probably not their direction. The goaltending's been outstanding. So, yeah, I really don't know what to say about this other than the fact of, Dougie Hamilton's ahead of Ryan Graves in points. That's it. Damon Severson's there. You've got Jonas Segerhalter. You got John Marino, Brennan Smith, Kevin Ball, who's played some minutes. So they have some defensemen here, and I think Graves could, to an extent, be available if the Devils so chose. But I don't know where this really comes from in my mind, other than it's just dreaming to have a guy like Ryan Graves, who's been so phenomenal over the course of his career. He's been in New Jersey for 2 years now after signing or getting traded to the New Jersey Devils in 2021. A guy who's put up a career best 28 points last season in New Jersey. So again, right, is you're not adding him for the points, you are adding him for the big minutes, the big body, and the big weight on the blue line. And just to kind of give you an idea, is it's one of those things, if I could go to Cap Friendly quickly to give you that idea. Sorry, I'm wasting a lot of your time tonight. I apologize. It's been an absolute slammer of a week, and I got home late tonight, just going out having a little bit of me time on the town. So let's go talk about Ryan Graves here, who's at $3.1 million, will be a UFA at the end of this deal. He's a left-hand D, but looking like he is actually their best, highest paid left-hand D, in fact, on the New Jersey Devils. So, like I said, it's a dream scenario, but until proven otherwise, that's who I want off of the New Jersey Devils, my friends. It's all hope or talk, but again, trade deadline deals just somehow, some way, kind of all translate different ways around. So I'll take whatever I can get from the New Jersey Devils. I'm sure it'll improve us if they're an 81-point club, but that's as far as we go. All right. Hey, you know what? Sorry. Wasted a lot of time there. Didn't realize it. We're at the 7:47-minute mark on this video, but we got to talk a little bit about what has happened today in Oilers land. Obviously, Oilers Nation got to be part of the media tour before Old Rexall Place, Northlands Coliseum, the Skyreach Center, or whatever it was called in that weird time. Guess what? It's getting torn down. They got to go check it out. But that's not the big news out of Oilers land today, actually. The big news is the fact that Rob Schremp had a little bit something to say here about Oilers media over the past little bit. Taking aim at Robin Brownlee, who writes for Oilers Nation, pretty much saying he can't accept his apology for tearing down his career for almost 2 decades between you, that being Robin Brownlee, Kyle Woodleaf, and Mark Spector. The damage you have done to my name is irreversible, in Rob Schremp's words on Twitter. So then he has articles there from Brownlee, Spector, and I believe Spector as well. But that's where we sit right now, friends. What the heck? Why am I talking about this? Well, point in case, yes, Puljujärvi to a very good extent. So you might not be familiar if you're newer to the Edmonton Oilers fandom, especially, right? I think there's a whole generation of Oilers fans that would not even know the name Rob Schremp was ever at one time associated with the Edmonton Oilers. The man had 7 points in 7 games played for the Oilers between 06-07 and 08-09 and had a total of 3 assists. Well, why are you talking about an absolute no-name? Well, here's the thing. You go back to the year before I really took my strides into the NHL, just following the Tampa Bay Lightning's first ever cup win in '04 over top of the Calgary Flames, by the way. The Oilers would that year draft Rob Schremp 25th overall in the first round of the '04 NHL entry draft. He would go on to finish out his junior career with the London Knights, putting up 90 points in 62 games in '04-05, the lockout year, and then 145 points in '05-06 with the London Knights that year. And then follow it up with playing with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, putting up 53 points in 69 games in '06-07 before being recalled by the Oilers for a solo game in '06-07. He would then, when the Oilers were affiliated with the Springfield Falcons at a time, before they went to Oklahoma City, would then go 76 for 78 in '07-08. That would earn him a whole 2 games. I will tell you, the Oilers played a lot of crappy players that year, and Rob Schremp was only able to manage 2 games out of that. That is, again, asset management in those years was absolutely terrible. And then another year, '08-09, where he put up a grand total of 42 points in 69 games. He only managed 4 games with the Oilers and 3 assists. So that's kind of where we're sitting on that. We'll go back to Cap Friendly, just to kind of give you enough backstory on what is going on here with Rob Schremp. Obviously, I can fully explain in a minute, but you just kind of look at this one over the course of Rob Schremp's career. He's now 36, retired from hockey, full-time dad, having a great time, but a guy who I don't think ever got a fair shake with the Oilers, and obviously never really panned out to be much in the NHL, flaming out with the Islanders and the Thrashers in 2010-2011. That was obviously not the end of his hockey career. Like I said, he went on to play until 2021 in Latvia, playing a total of 14 games and 14 points in 17 games played. So he was active there for a little bit. But you look at this all together for Mr. Rob Schremp. I'm just looking for some information here if I can. Trying to find what we got. 54 points in 114 career games. And I need to see the transaction history here if I can. Basically, he was signed to a standard contract by the Oilers in 2009. So there must have been a trade somewhere here that I'm looking for. And that's obviously what I'm looking for. Sorry, trying to figure out if I can find the trade for Rob Schremp at any point, but I can't seem to find it here. I'm pretty sure he was traded at some point because he ended up in New York in '09-10, but I can't seem to find that trade anywhere from Steve Tambellini. Let's go here again. I told you this one's going to be a time waster. It's going to be a time waster for sure. Trades there under Steve Tambellini. Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. Jared Smithson. Oof, 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 oof. Ay, ay, ay. Go back to 2009 and let's see what I can find with the New York Rangers if I can, or New York Islanders, anywhere here. I guess he must have been put on waivers, actually must have been what happened with Rob Schremp, to be honest with you. I'm trying to figure it out, and that must be the only case scenario. The Islanders must have picked him up off of waivers. He would then go on in '09-10 to have 25 points in 44 games. Like I said, the 26 points in 63 games played. That's realistically the best I can find. That's a lot of backstory, but that's a good old trip down memory lane. So let's get back to what we're figuring out here. So essentially, he takes aim at the media here for obviously doing some damage to his career. And this is something that I think a lot of us feel when it comes to Jesse Puljujarvi is the kind of situation where it really hurts a player and obviously is a detriment to their career when the media is just focusing continually negatively on said player. And I mean, Robin Brownlee's quote on him, you can read it on yourself, is absolutely just ridiculous. And it just kind of one of those things. The writing is just aimed at the person, not aimed at the hockey player. It's aimed at the person. And I think, right, no matter what you're doing, I don't think anyone's as awful as they seem to be. And for this is a Mark Spector article from November 2nd, 2009. just for reference, it can't be easy being YouTube sensation Rob Schremp these days, as reality sets in with a thud every time he goes home to the hotel across from the parking lot at the decrepit Nassau County Coliseum. Are you like, again, right? I'm not sitting here claiming to be Mark Spector's biggest hater or Mark Spector's biggest fan, but it's just there's a line. And the reason I'm talking about this, if you don't know me very well, I am media trained. I have a diploma in television broadcasting. There's a reason I have a passion for doing this channel like I do. But it's just one of those things is I think that in Oilers land it is always every season, every year there seems to be, and for the duration of that player's career going forward, always somebody that the media just chooses to attack personally because they're not happy with the player. And the Rob Schremp here basically saying, right, he had a reporter that was hating on him as a 14-year-old child to the point that, right, Robin and Mark come in there and get it going and just choose to derail his career. And whether you want to believe that the media has the power to derail superstars or NHL players or bubble players' careers, trust me, you see it every day. Like news reports, anything can derail people's lives in a flash just like that. So it's just one of those stark reminders as to why I ended up making the changes to Dolynny TV I have since coming back. I think even back to my most critical video I've done. Sorry, there's a mustache hair going up my nose as I try to make a serious point. But even to the most critical video I've done since being back, that Darnell Nurse is seriously paid $9.25 million, was I did not make it about how terrible of a human being Darnell Nurse is. He stole money from the Oilers. That's not what the theme of the video was. That was not where the discussion was aimed. The discussion was aimed, look, we got to get more out of the player. And I think in the past, owning my own mistakes in this one, I had aimed a lot of personal attacks at a guy like Jesse Puljujärvi, at a guy like Darnell Nurse, at guys that just I didn't like as a player. Problem is, right, is you're not in the dressing room. You're not, and that's what makes it worse with the media. They're in there, but you're not actually there with them human to human. And it's very easy as somebody in a basement to sit here and criticize the player and the person as one, but what you don't realize is the damage that that can do. And to see Rob Schremp kind of, hey, you know what? I think to some degree that is aimed at guys like Mark Spector who continue that pattern of behavior towards a guy like Jesse Puljujärvi. All these years later, after riding Rob Schremp into the ground like they did, is just one of those things, right? It's a stark reminder, be better. Be a good person, put out good in the world, and don't go after someone personally because you don't like what they are professionally. That I guess is kind of the takeaway I've got for you today. So great to see Rob Schremp kind of take it to task, right? The media always is allowed to take the players to task, but the players are never allowed to fire back. And it's great to see that, you know what, all these years later, Rob Schremp has something to say and he said it. And it's great to see that it's kind of echoed amongst us as fans as well. Friends, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I'm up on out of here.